Hey guys, I'm Logan. We are picking up right where we left off last time. The camera's even in the exact same spot. So let's go. So guys, I'm Logan. Welcome back to the long drive. Last week we found a bunch of gas. We ate, we drank, we were merry. We've got somewhere around 4.5 tanks of fuel. We've covered 50 kilometers last time, right at it. We reset the odometer, and we are now setting off to go and do some driving again. Oh man, that that last week was good. Finding all the fuel has really made me a lot happier. We are also sitting at 4,501 kilometers. So if we can get us some speed up, we can maintain that speed, not have any accidents. We don't have to worry about fuel. We'll probably check our food probably about the time night comes on tomorrow. We'll check our food, see if we're hungry and thirsty. We do not want a repeat of a couple of weeks ago when we died behind the wheel. So let's see. Hopefully we can knock out 100 today. That'll get us to 4,600. If we can do that again, in theory, in about 4 or 5 weeks, somewhere around Christmas time. Yeah, somewhere around Christmas, maybe before, depending on how things go, we should be at the end of the road. Man, it's crazy to think about. I mean, I know I've been saying it the last few weeks, but just the amount of distance we've covered these last couple of years, and just to say the last couple of years, I've went through 3 mics, a couple of headsets, to the current setup I'm on now, a couple of graphics cards, lots of changes in recording quality and recording ability, things like that. It has been insane. And now we're closing in on the end of the road. Please don't spawn a bus. Okay, thank you. But yeah, I mean, it's just, we've covered so much ground and time together, and now we're closing in 500 kilometers. I think the first 500 kilometers took about 3 months because we were going really slow. We were stopping everywhere for gas and food and parts, trying to build out the wagon. Because if you guys remember, originally starting out, the truck update, the Volkswagen truck update, hadn't even came out yet. So we were driving the big wagon. That was our favorite car at the time. Oh jeez, what happened? Okay, come on, stop. Okay, there we go. And, okay, we saved it. And, yeah, I mean, we were starting, where's our headlight? Oh, it's a UFO. Well, okay, I guess we're not going anywhere for a minute. Alright, where's the UFO? We actually haven't seen a UFO in a while. Here it comes. And there it goes. Let's see, where's it at? There it is. Yeah, we actually haven't seen a UFO in a while, so I guess let's go ahead and sleep. We can't do anything anyway. I thought we randomly just lost our headlight. Alright, we are off again. UFO in the distance. But, yeah, so it was, we started this game, this drive, before the Volkswagen update. Not the Volkswagen bug, but the Rabbit and truck update. We swapped to the truck, fell in love with it, drove it for a long time, swapped over to the Fury when it came out, fell in love with Christine, picked up Beetleborg along the way, decided Beetleborg wasn't really for us, though he was a cool car. Went back to Christine, drove Christine for a long time, until this update with Van Helsing. And we've been riding Van Helsing now for over 1,000 kilometers. I think it's pushing 1,100 kilometers in this particular Van Helsing model. So we've done some cool stuff. We've survived crazy zombies attacking us. We've explored their homes. Oh, a lot of stuff has happened. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed this. I've enjoyed hanging out with you guys and talking to you in the comments. Hopefully they're getting multiplayer to a space that it will eventually be playable. I know I've told some of you guys I would love to get on with you, and I would, I think that'd be a lot of fun. They just really need to get multiplayer in a spot that is usable. I did try to get on with Adam for a little bit, talked him into picking it up. I think we played maybe 10 minutes, and it was rough, and couldn't get him into it enough to play it within that little bit. So, who knows? We'll see. Hopefully they can get it to a better spot. Maybe I can pick up a copy for my girlfriend, have her join. That'd be a lot of fun too. So we'll just have to see. I know there's been some talk, there's always talk that just because there is multiplayer, that, oh, they're working on multiplayer and it's going to have full multiplayer support. But then there's been other things that say, no, multiplayer is a dev tool, and the only reason it exists is for the devs to play with it and test things out together, and that once the full release happens, it's going away. So I don't know. I think we're just going to have to wait and see, kind of try to figure out exactly what the long-term plan is for the game. I know I mentioned it last week that we really don't know. Hopefully they're going to update soon and be able to say, oh yeah, like long-term we want the game to support multiplayer and, you know, be released on Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. Even if it's digital through their online stores, things like that. Is that ship just completely floating? It almost looks like it is. I bet the front is touching and that's why it's there. But we don't know their end goal, and hopefully a lot of the stuff that I complained about early on has been fixed. I've not driven off the road and come back and had the physics launch me into space. There are occasional still weird physics bugs, like the gas cans over there. You know, we set those to lock on the interior. We'll have a wreck and they still just fall out. Or, you know, you hit a rock and you get launched into space. Things like that. But a lot of the early game bugs aren't around anymore. They've added new enemies. They saw the complaints from people saying, oh, well, if we have enemies turned off or peaceful, we don't want the zombies to appear at all. And so they fixed that. They've added biomes and all sorts of stuff. So hopefully the final things they're working on are just some additional vehicles, some points of interest. One thing that I don't think they are ever going to add, but I've said it a bunch and I would really love, is a road system that diverges and converges back in spots. Maybe at like small towns and stuff with clusters of points of interest. I just think that'd be kind of cool. You know, you come to a fork in the road and you decide, do I go right, do I go left, do I go straight? You know, they all keep the poles on the same side over on the right, so you know you're going the right way. And eventually, before the end of the road, they all merge back together into one road. But it just gives you options, like you can go to the left. Maybe that way is a little bit longer. Maybe right is. Maybe one of those is the quickest route. You just don't know. And you just kind of drive and explore, and it would give you options on the way back for taking a different route, finding different things. So I just think that would be really neat. Whether or not it would ever happen, yeah, it's doubtful, but it would be kind of cool. I think it would anyway. I'm sure there are people out there who disagree with me. But, oh geez, too fast on the curve. Okay, so we're definitely going downhill, and I can feel it just in the handling. Alright, so I'm not even on the gas right now. I'm just feathering steering and brake occasionally to kind of keep us under control. Because the last thing you want to do is lock the brakes up and slam right or left. It's super tempting to do, but we just got to make sure we don't do that. Alright, so it looks like we're about to level out and then climb up another hill. Whoop, and we went airborne. We are not the Dukes of Hazzard. Bonk. Ooh. Although a Dodge Charger would be a pretty cool addition. Limited cargo space, but a V8 similar to this. Like some big drag slicks on the back for grip. That'd be really cool, actually. Alright, a dip in the road. Kaboom. Alright, we're good. Alright, gonna climb up the hill. Why is there a cactus? Did I hit a cactus at some point? I must have hit a cactus at some point. Definitely uphill, which we can tell just from our tree as well. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, not terrible. Oh, not bad at all. Alright, so like I said, we'll probably, about the time it gets dark, we'll stop and we'll check our food and stuff, because we do need to eat. And we need to have us a potty as well. So about the time it gets dark, we'll probably stop, we'll have us a drink and an eat, and go to sleep, and then just pick up fresh in the morning. So let's see, we're actually doing really well distance-wise. We've already pushed 25 kilometers, and it's only been about 10 minutes. So that is fantastic. So at that rate, we should be able to do 100 kilometers in about 40 minutes, assuming nothing goes wrong. Which, I mean, we've been pretty lucky thus far. I mean, we did hit that light pole last time because I was not paying attention. But this trip has been going okay. Let's go and close this back. Oh, I was trying to move my mouse off the edge of my mouse pad. Well, desk pad, it's not a mouse pad, I guess. Whacked it and sent us careening. Okay. Whew. So I don't know if I mentioned it or not, I finally saw the new Saw movie, Saw X, Saw 10. I know I discussed already how they stylized it versus how it's said. I'm just going to call it Saw 10. I liked it. I think it was one of the better Saw movies. It really gave a reason for Jigsaw to kind of do what he does. Like, I know the whole premise of the movies has always been like, oh, well, you know, Jigsaw is dying, he's punishing people that he feels like haven't lived up to their potential and have squandered life. So I get that, but this one felt like a much more personal reason, and I quite enjoyed it. I'm trying to figure out where it fits in the timeline. I think it's between 2 and 3. So I think it's Saw 2, Saw 10, and then Saw 3. I think. I don't really recall, but I think that's right. Oh, but I liked it. I liked it rather well. And then Halloween this year just kind of came and went really quickly. Like, I have a whole slate of movies that I always watch around Halloween, and I didn't get through a bunch of them this year. So, like, I'm a 90s kid through and through, born in the late 80s. I'm a 90s kid. I grew up on the Disney Channel movies, the Disney Channel originals. They will forever have a soft spot in my heart. So, like, the Halloween Town movies, absolutely love them, except for the last one where they replaced Kimberly J. Brown for apparently no reason, which I follow her on TikTok, and she's talked about it a couple of times, about how she really enjoyed doing the movies. She's down for another one. But when it came to the fourth one, they just recast her, and they didn't ask her about it. They didn't say, hey, do you want to come do another one? They just said, all right, bye, and she was gone. So I'm very curious as to why they would do that, but they did. I mean, I guess it's Disney's prerogative, it's their movie, but I mean, that's kind of weird. They'd be like recasting Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man for no reason. Like, it doesn't make sense. They just out of the blue, not even ask him. Just be like, oh, hey, by the way, we're doing a new Iron Man movie and Robert Downey Jr. is not Tony Stark. Semi-related, because Marvel and their whole multiverse thing. I've been playing Starfield, the new Bethesda game. Quite enjoyed it. It took me a little bit, which I've found for some reason, I don't know what it is, the early part of Bethesda games struggle to capture my attention. Except for Skyrim. Skyrim got me right out of the gate. But all the Fallout games, I never played 1 and 2. I tried, couldn't get into that. Top-down, isometric stuff just wasn't for me. But Fallout 3, New Vegas, 4, and 76 all took a while to catch my attention. I think 4 was the first one I played. Adam had brought it over when it came out. I played a little bit of it. I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. You know, like, whatever. Finally picked it up to play it on my own. And I think I didn't even make it to Concord, and I gave up. I picked it up again last year, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was last year. Yeah, it was definitely last year. Because I went back and I played 4, then New Vegas. And I tried New Vegas somewhere along the way, couldn't get into it. Went back, picked up 4, said, okay, I'm going to play the game start to finish. I want to see what the hype is about. And I did, and I loved it so much that I went back and I played New Vegas, which definitely had its strong points. I do not rank New Vegas as highly as a lot of other people. It's a great game. Its storyline is fantastic. And the amount of freedom it gives you to kind of be the character you want to be versus 3 and 4, which kind of have they have that storyline that your choices don't particularly affect too much. Whereas New Vegas gives you almost complete freedom to be as good, evil, whatever, neutral as you want to be. So I did quite like that aspect of it. But it was definitely a downgrade from 4, or I guess really because it's a prior installment. 4 is an upgrade, in my opinion, in almost every way from New Vegas. So the shooting mechanics are just kind of wonky and all that, but it's still kind of more of a role-playing game than a first-person shooter. I know Fallout 4 was really the first Fallout to almost do away with the roleplay aspect and go full first-person shooter. A lot of people didn't like that. I like it. I've never been a hardcore RPGer. So, I mean, I like being able to build out a character and make them do what I want. But I also don't like being locked into that. You know, I want to be able to respec my character and learn new things. You know, like in Skyrim, I started out as, I think it was a mage, because I'm like, oh man, like fire, like being able to throw fire at people and like protect myself with magic. But magic was horrible in Skyrim. If you played Skyrim, which I'm sure most, if not all of you have, because it's Skyrim, magic was just not great. It was very underpowered. And then, of course, being a stealth archer is super overpowered. So I started out, like, I never used bows and arrows. I didn't like them. I started out as a mage. Realized very quickly that a pure mage was not going to work. So I went to, like, I've heard some people call it like a battle mage, where you wear armor and you have a sword and stuff, but you still use magic. So I did that for a bit, dropped it, thought, oh man, I'll do two-handed weapons. They were too big, bulky, and slow. So I thought, alright, I'm going to go one-handed with a shield. And the shield was too much of a pain, so I said, alright, screw it. I'm going to dual wield and be a tank. Did that for most of the game. Started getting to the end game, beat Alduin. Said, alright, like, let's try some of the other stuff. So at that point, I did finally pick up a bow and arrow, started learning stealth, and I loved it. Being able to just sneak into a camp, take everybody out without them even noticing, so cool. Hands down, so cool. And so, of course, then it becomes a running joke among Skyrim players that, you know, every build eventually becomes a stealth archer. No matter what you try to do, you swear you're not even going to touch a bow, you always become a stealth archer. So, I really like being able to respec and change my playstyle. I don't want to be locked in and they say, oh, well, max level is 30 and skill points stop there. So, if you've spent the whole game learning medicine and bartering to get really good prices and to be able to talk people down, as opposed to fighting as much, well, you're stuck with that for the whole game. And that may come back to bite you in the end. So I much prefer open leveling where I can just keep earning skill points, or even just redo my skill points. Like I know Skyrim started allowing that at some point, where you could undo perks and put them somewhere else, which I thought was super cool. It's like, oh, well, I picked this perk, I never really use it, or I've changed my playstyle, let's go and do something else. Well, you can do that. That's up to you. So, quite enjoyed that aspect of 4 more than New Vegas. And then, of course, 3. Fallout 3 was good. I liked it. I did not like the DC area, which apparently that's a big point of contention among the players, is either you love the metro system in Fallout 3 or you hate it. If you're not familiar, Fallout 3 is set in and around Washington, D.C., the United States capital. And so a lot of the gameplay is centered in Washington, D.C., but you can't just walk around the city streets. The city, of course, was bombed heavily during the Great War. And so, ow, I saw that one coming. And so you're just kind of stuck traveling through the metro station, the subway, the underground, the tube, whatever, and you're just stuck doing that. All right, we lost our headlight. And so it's a lot of navigating that and trying to understand, oh, well, if I go in here, I pop out here. Apparently there's a map system. Well, not apparently, there is. But for whatever ungodly reason, I could not figure out how to use the maps. Like, it would say, oh, well, you're here, and this will connect you to here. And I would try that, but I would end up somewhere else. And it was just awful. But yeah, it's just definitely not my favorite as far as all that goes. Okay, come on, let's get you back in there. All right, so you're reconnected. Everything back here looks okay. Yep. I think all we really lost then was... oh, we lost a gauge. Uh-oh. Oh, it's down there, I think. Whoop. Wait, what are... oh. Well, dang nabbit. Grab. There we go. Alright, so we do have that back. Okay, we're going to put our rear view on, even though we don't really use it. We're going to get our smelly tree. We're going to reattach you. We're going to open this door. We're going to drink these cactuses and get them out. Come on, out. Out. Alright, we're going to pick this up. It goes back over here. There we go. We use an extra spray somewhere. Alright, we're stopped. We might as well go ahead and eat. Alright, so we're not hungry anymore. We are thirsty. How much water do we have? We're down to 5 liters of water. So we are definitely going to need some water soon. Alright, that's good enough. I want to get back on the road. Alright, close that. How far have we went? We're at 52. And we're pushing 25 minutes. Alright. Oh, we almost spun around off that cliff. Let's not do that. And there we go. Alright, back on the road. Yeah, I saw that one coming. I tried to just talk around it. There's nothing I could do. Oh, alright. But yeah, just the metro system wasn't my favorite thing. But anyway, all that came from just saying that Bethesda games in general take a while to kind of capture my attention. And it was that way with Starfield. I played 30, 45 minutes, and I just wasn't really feeling it. Now, granted, it was having some issues running, which I say that, and you're probably scratching your head going, how on earth was it having problems running? Like, you have a great computer. And I do, and that's what I could not figure out. And it turns out that I had just put it on it was a solid state drive, but it still was just having trouble. So, like, it had to run in windowed mode, and even then, like, the audio video was out of sync. It was bad. So I moved it to my new M.2 SSD. There we go. There we go. There we go. And it's run perfect. Like, I mean, high frame rates, smooth. So it's been great ever since then. But it did take a while to kind of get me. But I think now I've got like almost 30 hours in it. So over a couple dozen hours. and I did beat the main quest line already, which felt extremely short. I don't know if I just rushed it or what. So like I know Adam, he said he was on level like 40 or 50 or something before he even started the main quest line. And I was over here about to finish it at like low mid 30s. So I don't know if I just rushed it and ignored a lot of the exploring and side quests, which that is another thing. So one thing that I absolutely loved about the Fallout games was the amount of effort that they put into building the world. If you've played the Fallout games, you know what I'm talking about. The details, the locations, it's all just meticulously built out. It's not randomly generated, nothing like that. So it's just fantastic. Everything feels hand-placed for the most part. And it does a great job of distracting you. So what I mean by that is like, from here to the road that we can see in front of us, maybe that's our next quest marker. So we're heading that way. Well, we see this building up ahead on the right. Well, we stop and we explore it, and there's something in there that gives us another small quest. And it sends us in that direction. Well, so we take off and start doing that. Well, then we see a cave in the distance. So we're like, well, what's in that cave? We go, we explore the cave, we find some loot, some enemies, some monsters, some cool lore. And we get distracted for 2 hours. And then we finally remember, oh hey, I was heading to the top of the hill to turn in this quest. I don't get that in Starfield. It very much feels more like a loading screen simulator in a lot of aspects. So, for example, you pick up a new quest that's inside of a building which took a loading screen to get to. But we're just going to start at the quest. So you talk to somebody, blah blah blah, I need you to go do X. Okay. So it sets that as your active quest. You walk out the door, loading screen, into the main city, or world, wherever. Say you fast travel to your ship, loading screen, drops you in. Okay, well then you launch off from the planet. That's a cutscene and a loading screen. Okay, well now you're in space. You point your ship in the right direction, you fire up the grav drive, which is their faster than light travel. You say go. Cutscene, loading screen. Another cutscene as you're coming out of fast travel. Okay, well now you gotta go down to the planet. Okay, land. That's another cutscene, another loading screen. Okay, well then you gotta get out of your ship. Well, that's a loading screen. You get out of your ship, you gotta go talk to somebody in a building. Okay, well, you go to the building, you walk in, loading screen. All that just to leave one person and go talk to another. And that is not an exaggeration. All of those are loading screens and forced cutscenes. Like, they're not using the little animation cutscene of you taking off from the planet to seamlessly transition to you being in space, and then using it landing to you being seamlessly in atmosphere. There's none of that. So it's just loading screen after loading screen after loading screen. Now granted, to be fair, on my M.2 drive, the SATA M.2, it's extremely quick. The loading scenes, the loading screen, couple of seconds. Like, from the time I tell the game to start to when I'm actually sitting in the game on my computer, I have time to maybe unlock my phone and watch one TikTok, and it's already there and waiting. Usually not even that. So it's super fast to load. But just the amount of cutscenes and loading screens that you go through to get from one location to another is mind-boggling. And then, like I said, you just don't have that exploration feeling. Like, I don't feel compelled to stop and see 5 different things along the way. I'm just kind of point A to point B, kill some bad guys, collect a thing, talk to somebody, rescue somebody, whatever, and then point B back to point A. And then do it again, rinse and repeat. So there's just, it doesn't have that exploration that you kind of expect from a Bethesda title, whether it's Fallout or Elder Scrolls. It's just not there. And I guess that was a sacrifice they had to make, going for such a large universe with so many planets and moons and swapping out for procedural generation. So I get that. One thing I do wish they had done differently, of course, is how you utilize your spaceship. It it's less of a spaceship and more of a fast travel device. I would have much preferred the, and as much as it pains me to say this because I bought into the hype and was severely disappointed. I know they've made a lot of changes and people say it's an amazing game now, but No Man's Sky, the way they handle space travel is so good. Like, you just get in your ship and you can fly around an atmosphere or you can point upward toward the stars and you're in space. You can look at another star and go to it. You can look at another planet and just point your ship and go, and you'll be there. You can go to a moon. You can see a valley over there and you just get in your ship and you fly to it. All procedurally generated, just like Starfield. But the flying in Starfield is so boring. And even when you're in space, like, it doesn't feel like you've got your little, speed meter and all that jazz, but it just does not feel like you're moving. It feels like you're just very static and just turning in a ball. And I wish they had taken that approach of, oh, well, there's a valley over there, let me get in my ship, fly through atmosphere, land at it, and go explore it. Or shoot up and go to a moon. Not load screen, take off, point, click, land, load screen, load screen, load screen. So that's it. That's my mini ramble on Starfield for the day. I do certainly recommend it if you enjoy Bethesda games. They're not everybody's cup of tea. They sell very well. A lot of people love them. And there are some people that just sort of hate the Bethesda look and feel. And they do all, I will admit, they do look and feel similar. I definitely get some Fallout vibes here and there from Starfield. Not so much Elder Scrolls in any way, but it feels very Fallout 4. Like, you can tell the people who made Fallout 4 made Starfield, which isn't a bad thing. People love Fallout 4. I love it. I think it's an amazing game. I enjoyed the story, the feel of it, the look of it. But that being said, it definitely is not for everybody. And if you didn't like it, if you didn't like the look and feel, the gameplay, you're not gonna like Starfield. Whoa, what on earth was that? Okay. Well, that was unexpected. So we're driving past the ghost house, and all of a sudden, it freezes for just a split second, and then we go flipping. Okay, well, that was unexpected, but it's a thing that happened. Alright, so back on the road. It's nighttime. If you noticed a second ago, I checked. We're doing okay on food and water, so I don't think that's going to be an issue for us. So I think we're okay there. Good times, good times. Alright, so... But what I was saying, if you don't like the look and feel of Fallout, you're not particularly going to like Starfield, I don't think. And I think if you have the kind of right expectations for Starfield, you'll enjoy it. It's not No Man's Sky type flying with... So don't expect No Man's Sky and Fallout to have a baby, because that's kind of what I did, and I was a little disappointed. Once you kind of get past that and you realize that it is the game that it is, and it plays the way that it does, I very much enjoy it. One thing I do not like, and it's a Bethesda thing, is the level scaling. So like, you may find a really cool gun early on that you love, you spend a lot of time and effort modifying it, and you have to give it away because you find something basic later game that does a lot more damage. And that's just a pain. Like, if I craft a gun early game that can do 300 damage, let me keep that and have it relevant the whole game. Like, I don't see a reason that the same gun, just because I found it 10 levels later with no modifications, can do the same amount of damage base. I put all the mods back on it, and it's twice as powerful as it was base, and like 4 times as powerful as the one that I had modified 10 levels ago. So I'm not a big fan of that. And it works the same thing with like armor. Like you get an armor early game that's like, oh wow, this looks really cool, I want to use it, but you can't, because it's just not effective anymore. And of course it doesn't offer that ability to say, oh well, I love the way this looks, but I like the stats of that one, so let me take the stats of this one but make it look like this. So you can craft a custom look for your character that you really enjoy. So I do wish we could do that. But overall, Starfield's fun. I definitely recommend it if that's your kind of game. Like I said, not for everybody. I enjoyed it. Do not know how I got on a crazy long tangent about Fallouts and Starfields just from saying I've been playing Starfield. But it happens. That's one of the things I do here. I ramble. You should know that by now. Hopefully you do. If not, I have questions. Many, many questions. Oh, I really need to get out. So, I've said it before, I live in the foothills of Appalachia. And of course, it's fall, the leaves have been falling. I went out yesterday, got on my lawnmower, and I cut up a bunch of leaves just because I had raked some of them up. I didn't want them to kill the grass. I need to get out with my leaf blower, blow off my front porch again. Here in a week or two, I'm going to have to get up on the roof and blow out the gutters. I've already done that once over the summer. We'll need to do that again because I have a maple tree right in front of my house. I love the tree. It's an old tree, very tall. I love it. Gives a lot of shade in the summer and looks great. But where it's right in front of the house, all the leaves go boom, right on my roof, which in turn means boom, right into the gutter. So I've got to take care of that so the gutters don't overflow and cause an issue. Which I need to do something about my heat pump. So I told you guys a while back that my heat pump died, had to get a new one put in. Which if you're from overseas or you're in an area that don't use them, a heat pump is how we heat and cool our homes. It has an indoor furnace that does heat, the outside unit does the air conditioning for the most part, but they work together to give you hot and cold air on demand. So anyway, it died. I had no cold air in the summer, had to get it fixed. Well, that thing, I don't know if it's the evaporator or what, but it sucks out so much humidity that in the summer it was running constantly, just a stream of water, which in turn was just pouring out next to my driveway and was just turning it into a muddy mess. So I went and I stacked up a couple of blocks and I just took a galvanized steel bucket and put it out there to let it catch the water, and I was throwing it on some plants. So I need to do something with that because I do not want to be going out there every day, every other day this coming summer and be trying to empty that bucket out, which, I mean, it's free water for the plants. Like, I'm not going to complain too much about it. I've got some plants close to it. I might try to come up with some way to rig almost like a little, well, that's a lot of water. Because that's a decent sized bucket. I think it's a 3-gallon galvanized steel bucket. So it holds a good amount of water and I can just dump it on the plants every couple of days. I was thinking about running some piping over and poking holes in it, almost like a little irrigation thing. But as much as that thing spits out water, I would about be concerned that it would overwater those plants and kill them. And I definitely do not want that. Oh, which, good news, I told you guys before, a big storm came through a few months ago and knocked down most of one of my pear trees, my Bradford pear trees. Well, I finally got a good chainsaw. I've been using my dad's, which is not great. It just, I don't know what's wrong with it. I did some reading, because like, if you fully throttle it up, it dies. So, I'm thinking either the air intake is clogged, or there's a leak in the gas line, which could cause it to be not getting enough fuel, and it just kills over. So I went out, found a really good deal on a Cobalt electric chainsaw. Man, that sucker is great. It's got a big 40 amp battery, It'll run for a bunch of cuts. Great, great chainsaw. So I was able to use that and get the rest of that tree cut up and put down to dry out and hopefully burn off. So that's really exciting. It's completely out of the yard. The grass is starting to come back. So that is good stuff. I'm super excited. I'm probably going to, here in a little bit, actually get it out, the chainsaw, and go down and cut up some bushing that I have that I just kind of mowed around all year, but it really needs to be trimmed back and maintained and look better than it does now, which anything would look better than it does now. So I might go and do that. Which, I mean, I'm just going to edit this episode and get it started uploading, which I upgraded my upload speed, which allows these videos 30-40 minutes to upload in about 15 to 20, which is great. It was taking a couple of hours, and it was interminable. I hated every minute of it. But since I was able to upgrade my internet speed, it's been so much better. Which there is a competitor now, which I'm on Charter Spectrum. Which, I mean, it is what it is. It's all that I really have access to where I live in a semi-rural area. But, hey, it is what it is. But a competitor is coming. Hey, wait a minute. Who is that? Somebody just pulled up my driveway. Who is that? Who are you? Oh, why are you parking out back? Well, that's weird. But it's perfect because we are at 100 kilometers, my friends. So I am going to call it here. And we are going to end this episode, guys. As always, I'm Logan. This is The Long Drive. Somebody just pulled up my driveway. I will catch you next time.